A facility was established to serve various type of coffee. They are known as cafes or coffee shops. A simple difference between cafes and coffee shops is that cafes are more interested in food than coffee. Unlike coffee shops, the main focus is on coffee. Um, Coffee shops are very popular and they created a calm atmosphere for their customers. Often customers will simply have a seat of drinking a cup of joe while doing something productive, as in homework or like conducting business work or just simply enjoying their time and relaxing. The warmth of coffee and having a stable environment is what brings the people in. Having a trust and stable bonds with their favorite coffee place, along with knowing simple background knowledge of where their coffee comes from. There are various types of coffee, and each one is unique. These businesses have a support system for their coffee, and customers want to know more about it so they can have a sturdy pick of choice. Based on the quality of the coffee, it continues to bring the customer's business in. Coffee is often made and used with different machinery to produce different types of coffee, like lattes, frappes, espressos, macchiatos, and more. With different shop locations, the drink styles can flow greatly with customers, which lets them to have like new options and new experiences. Coffee shops also provide an eco-friendly atmosphere, continuously coming up with different ways to help the environment to recycle. They could promote reusable cups or reusable straws instead of plastic. Coffee shops help the communities to have an enjoyable drink and to come together. Coffee shops are very popular and will continue to be on a higher level than online based on the level. I found most of my existence in year 2022. Now, my classmate Nicholas will talk about the difference between cafes and coffee shops.
Like my classmate Alicia said, a simple contrast between coffee shops and cafes are that cafes will generally serve food, while coffee, their main ideals is to serve coffee. Although they both serve coffee, although they both can serve coffee, coffee shops will generally serve brews like such as espresso, and they'll also offer tea. Due to the fact that they do not, most coffee shops don't really focus on food. They're not classified as restaurants such as cafes are, because cafes will serve many types of things such as food, drinks, and also coffee. And but both can be interchanged. Like cafes could serve mainly coffee, and coffee shops can serve food along with coffee. Most businesses will like to use the word cafe to sound more classy, to make it, sound more fancier to the customers that would like to go in. The word cafe, the word coffee in French means cafe. Examples such as cafe mocha, which translates to chocolate coffee. The owners will also spend large amounts of money to make it more aesthetically pleasing for people who go inside, so you can relax, focus on their work or studies, and should not get too stressed in the environment. Generally, people go to cafes in order to go for lunch after on like a lunch break. And like I said in my previous section, and it's stated in startmycoffeeshop.com, most cafes mostly serve coffee, food, and other drinks. In coffee shops, they'll serve all types of coffee, like regular coffee, decaf, espressos, and other things. And some coffee shops even have espresso machines, so you can get some and pay on the go. When you think of a coffee shop, you usually think about the quality of coffee that is savory and or sweet. And cafes, you think about the light meal and some coffee, but they're not a lot, but not much emphasis on the coffee. But both can be interchanged in any way because they both serve coffee. I'll now pass it on to my classmate Taylor, who's talked about the various ways people use coffee shops.
There are many different reasons why people visit coffee shops. According to a blog called Coffee Inspiration, there are 13 reasons why people go to coffee shops. Of those 13 reasons listed in the blog, I found 7 to be the most helpful. Obviously, they go for the coffee, studying, Wi-Fi, the creative atmosphere, first dates, business meetings, and hangouts. While it may be true that people just go for the coffee, I think there are other reasons why they decide to sit down and actually stay for a while, or even maybe they might stay for a few hours. While going on a first date or hang out with friends, a coffee shop is a place for any activity. They always smell like coffee, the lighting is perfect for any occasion, and you don't feel rushed to leave. I have done a few study sessions there just to kind of get like my own clear my mind and get into a quiet space because sometimes at home it can get a little hectic. Someone's always needing something, or I have animals always making noise, playing with toys or something, or there's always something that needs to be done around the house. And just getting out and going to a coffee shop sometimes can be helpful when needing to get into a clear headspace for studying. No one bothers you or needs anything from you. Even though there's people in and out all day long, they just have a kind of an understanding like to leave each other alone. My main reason for going is always because their coffee tastes better than the coffee you can get at home, and because sometimes it just feels good to be unbothered. Um, I will now pass it on to my classmate Hunter, who will explain a little bit more about the aspect of the productivity and creativity that you get from going to coffee shops.
There are many uses for coffee shops, as my classmate Taylor has just pointed out. People ranging from college students to famous authors like J.K. Rowling have used coffee shops as a place to study, accomplish work, or find creative inspiration. The reason for this is because coffee shops offer many benefits to a person's productivity and creative thinking. To some people, the idea of ambient noise going on all around them is probably the last thing they would want to have going on while they're trying to focus on something. According to an article published by BBC in 2021, a study from 2012 showed that low to medium levels of ambient noise, such as those found in cafeterias or coffee shops, can actually boost your creative output and help get the creative juices flowing. Those same levels also affect decision making by improving it, and this effect has been dubbed the coffee shop effect by some. Another benefit comes from being in close proximity to others who are also working on various tasks. A study from 2016 showed that being next to someone else who is also actively working on something motivates you to want to work harder, which increases your own productivity. Also, going to the coffee shop with a specific goal, very similar to going to a gym to work out, helps to keep you focused on the task at hand and will show an increase in productivity. The pleasant environment of coffee shops and the aroma of coffee help put some people at ease and stimulate your senses versus normal environments we find ourselves in, such as our homes, places of work, or our schools, which may become stale and affect the way we think. The informal setting of coffee shops and things such as coffee shops, though many of them are designed to allow us to work, are not solely intended for this purpose. Therefore, we don't associate work necessarily with them. This air of informality, again, puts us at ease and encourages more creative thought and better productivity. I will now be followed by my classmate, Aaron, who will tell you the ways in which coffee shops enable us to accomplish our work and the various ways in which coffee shops try to accommodate people accomplishing work.
So as stated previously by Hunter, coffee shops are really an asset for increasing creativity and productivity. Recently, due to the pandemic, many businesses have moved jobs that were previously in the office setting to work from home positions. And coffee shops and cafes have stepped into the role of providing those workspaces for those who don't have that environment at home. Until recently, public libraries have been the leading provider of out of office workspaces, providing access to the internet as well as desk space and outlets for charging personal devices. Coffee shops have recently started providing this service. Internet cafes are relatively new entry to the market. Coffee shops and internet cafes must fill several requirements to provide for the average worker, such as internet access and power outlets for charging and desk space. UK office space provider Workspace explained in an article titled "The Rise and Rise of the Internet Cafe." The internet access is a necessity for personal and business use, and in some households, internet access may only be available at coffee shops or at cafes, as a shared access model is more affordable than personal ownership. Coffee shops and internet cafes allow separation of work and home environments. They also allow workers to have lower costs associated with working from home, as they provide desk space, internet access, and in some cases, even the computer to do work on. At its core, public workspace is an environment for workers who choose not to use traditional office space to still remain productive. These spaces provide an outlet for creativity and productivity in a non-traditional setting.